All right, everybody, let's try this one more time. We are going to unpack our forecast. It is a first alert weather day. Once again, you are looking right now at Puget Sound Energy's current power outage map. Not as bad as when I showed it to you last weekend, just a couple smaller outages sprinkled around western Washington. Snohomish County had about 4,000 people without power earlier on this Saturday, but crews there have been working hard. It's down to just a couple thousand at this point, but you can see down, it looks like to the south as well, around Mount Rainier, we have some outages. So it's much smaller impact areas and a lot fewer people impacted compared to the outages that we were talking about last weekend. But it has once again been a blustery, wet day across western Washington. And that is why we are once again in a first alert weather day. So today, November 11th, November 1st, first day of November. And yes, we are starting it on a wet and windy note. We're going to get to your forecast. I want to also walk you through everything we've already picked up today because it has been once again an impactful day. This atmospheric river that we're seeing right now is not quite as impactful as what we saw last weekend. Last weekend, it was the same story. It was wet and it was windy. It is still wet and windy this weekend, but not quite as bad. But when you pair the two together, that's where we create a little bit of an interesting situation. So here is a look at the strongest wind gusts since midnight earlier today, so last night. So we are about 2/3 of the way through the day at this point. So you can see along the coast, especially the south coast, that's where we saw gusts in the kind of 45 to 55 mile per hour range. Shelton saw a gust of about 35 miles per hour. Everett close to 40 miles per hour. Seattle surpassing, actually, Seattle saw a gust of 45 miles per hour. So it has once again been a blustery day across western Washington. But if you remember last weekend, we were seeing gusts in the 50s and 60s widespread, and Hoquiam saw a gust of 77 miles per hour. So yes, it is blustery out there, but it's not quite as bad as what we saw last weekend. My concern is that last weekend it was windy, and that kind of loosened things up, right? If there was a tree that is unstable, it maybe shook it up a little bit, but if it didn't fall, this may have been that extra straw that broke the camel's back. So even though it's not as windy this weekend, it still can be impactful. The good news, though, is that things are calming down. Here's a look at our current gusts right now. We're still seeing gusts in the 30 to 35 mile per hour range for some areas like Whidbey Island, Seattle, and Tacoma as well. But we're shifting the wind to be kind of on the eastern slopes of the Cascades. So as this front moves through, we're going to continue with wet and windy conditions, but it's shifting focus areas. So you can see Snoqualmie Pass, White Pass, they're in the 20s right now, and that will continue into this evening. So let's time out that future cast for wind gusts. So this is 5:30 this evening, so in the next hour or so on Saturday, November 1st, Puget Sound and western Washington, still a little bit breezy out there, but definitely not as bad as what we saw earlier this morning. The strongest wind was Saturday morning. It's going to calm down into Saturday evening. So we're in the 15, 20, 30 mile per hour range this evening. But look at the eastern slopes of the Cascades. Look at Leavenworth. 46 mile per hour gusts are expected. And we're in that 25 to 35 mile per hour range for a good chunk of the crest and then over to the eastern sides of the Cascades. So we're not quite done with the wind yet, but as we look forward into our Sunday, okay, take a deep breath. The wind is done. It won't even really be that breezy outside come Sunday. Let's take a look outside right now. Here is a live look from Everett showing rain there on the runway at Payne Field and some gray clouds out there. Tacoma is also showing a little bit of sun peeking through, but we actually have a good amount of cloud cover still out there as well. And let's take you to our Columbia Tower camera, some dark clouds out there, especially as we look off to the east. So we're definitely not in the clear yet, but I do want to take you to our pass cameras. Now, if we look at our pass cameras, one of the big differences this weekend is also that we're not seeing snow levels drop down as far. So yes, we have that moisture out there, but it's falling as rain pretty much for everybody. So Snoqualmie Pass, certainly seeing that rain. In fact, this rain that we're seeing right now is actually melting away a lot of that snow that fell last weekend, which is Definitely a bummer, especially for our snowpack. Stevens Pass, you can still see a little bit of snow out there on the side of the road, but same thing, it's falling mostly as rain over Stevens as well. Snow levels are above those passes. So tippity tops of the Cascades are seeing snow on this Saturday evening, but unfortunately, just because we have rain in the lowlands, a lot of times you think, oh, but at least it's snowing in the mountains, right? Nope, not with this one. It's much warmer. We're tapping into that tropical moisture. That's the definition really of an atmospheric river. So it tends to be a lot warmer. We do have a good amount of watches, warnings, and advisories that are in place on this Saturday evening. That green that you see there for most of King and then counties north of King County, that is a flood watch that is in place for us. And all of that brown over there, that is a wind advisory. That's what I just showed you, that we see the wind shifting to the eastern slopes of the Cascades. So the blustery conditions will be in eastern Washington as we look into tonight and into our overnight hours. And then over along the coast, that is a high surf advisory. That's actually going to be expiring here in the next hour. And that also is thanks to that blustery wind that has moved through, creating choppy waters over along the coast, the immediate coast. So that is going to be wrapping up as we see the wind calming down. But I do want to show you the rain on this Saturday evening and Saturday afternoon. So if we take kind of a wide look, this is a loop of the last 6 hours for us, and you can see that heavy rain that then pushes off to the east and starts to fizzle out. So the widespread heavier rain is done. A closer look at what we're seeing in the last couple of hours. Still a good amount of rain down in western Oregon, and we're seeing that widespread rain over around Spokane and heading east of that as well. But a closer look at western Washington as of right now, just after the 4 o'clock hour on Saturday, shows that we are mostly dry. You do see that sun peeking out in some areas. A couple of showers are still in place. It looks like we have some showers that are along the coast right now. We'll zoom that in, a couple stray showers moving in along the coast. But I do want to also point your attention to our lovely convergence zone. So that is what we're seeing in play right now. So if you live along Highway 2, right on that King and Snohomish border, you are probably drenched at this point. The rain has certainly been falling there. So anyone who needs to do any pass travel this evening, it's not necessarily the passes that are going to be an issue. It's the highways and the lowlands thanks to that convergence zone. So I-90 might be a good route for you if you want to avoid slick roadways, because you can see all along Highway 2 as we head toward the mountains. That is very wet right now. In fact, it actually does look like we may have an alert that has just been issued around, Snohomish County. That's a flood warning that was just in place. So if I move that over to the side, you can see this area. Let me see if I can circle it for you. Let's use this visual. This kind of green area right here, if you can see that right there. That is a flood warning that is in play right now. Let me read up on that one and see what the deal is there. So this is going to be for the Skykomish River near Gold Bar. That is the big area of concern here. So if you see any flooded roadways, just a friendly reminder, don't try to drive through it. That's one of the concerns is, of course, that more urban flooding. We are seeing rivers rising as well, which we'll talk about more in a bit, but definitely that's one of the areas, that Skykomish River near Gold Bar. So that's east of Monroe is where we see that one. We do also, 15 feet is where the Skykomish River is. So that's considered minor flooding. That's going to mostly impact any fields, pasture lands, any low-lying roads. This is going to be around Index, Tuaco Loop. Skykomish River is at phase 2 of flooding. So that's minor flooding, not necessarily a big concern for everybody. But if you live in that area, you know if you're one of those flood-prone regions and you are likely feeling that flooding. And it looks like it's actually coming down. Flood stage is 15 feet. At 3:30 this afternoon, we were just shy of that. So. The river is expected to rise later on this afternoon. It'll fall later this evening. So if you are in that area, we will start to see that calming down into this evening. Let's take a look at some of our rain totals from the day so far today. Wow, look at this. This is impressive. So this is since midnight. This is not even 24 hours. Bellingham has seen almost an inch and a half of rain. Mount Vernon, close to 3/4 of an inch. Everett, a little bit more than half an inch of rain. Seattle, oh my goodness. 1.5 inches of rain just about. Tacoma just hit that 1 inch marker, and both Olympia and Shelton are a bit above an inch and a half of rain for today. Quileute, ooh, you are nearing 2 inches of rain. Hoquiam, you are nearing 1 inch of rain. Port Angeles, more than an inch of rain as well. So yes, it has certainly been wet out there across Western Washington. And if you remember last week when we had that heavy rain as well, SeaTac surpassed an inch of rain in the span of one day. And it was the first time we'd done that in nearly 2 years. We have not had one of these extremely soggy days in nearly 2 years. And now we have done it 2 weekends back to back, more than an inch of rain in just one day. So that is part of the reason that we are keeping an eye on flooding concerns. We do have that flood watch that's in place through our overnight hours tonight. Because of those rivers that are on the rise, because of that urban flooding as well. So the widespread rain is done, but we do still have a couple spotty showers and, of course, that convergent zone that I showed you. As we look at rain looking forward, we are going to start to dry things out just a little bit. We're not completely done with the rain chances these next couple of days, but the heavier rain will be making a comeback. It looks like Wednesday into Thursday is going to be the next chance at widespread heavy rain. So we will talk about that more in just a moment, but I think we should take a quick break right now. We have a lot to unpack as far as this busy First Alert Saturday is concerned, but let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to take a look forward, get you going for the next week, and talk about that next chance for rain and that heavy rain that is arriving into midweek. We'll be right back. Check, check, check. Welcome back. Thank you for being with us. I'm meteorologist Leah Pezzetti, and we are here to unpack the busy weather day we have had. Goodness, and it did start just in time for trick-or-treating. I went out trick-or-treating with some kiddos, and yes, we braved the rain. I don't know about everybody else, but I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was lovely and still fun to trick-or-treat. But yes, the rain moved in just in time for that Halloween holiday, and it's starting to taper off now, but we have more rain chances heading our way this week, so let's talk about that. Here is a live look from Bellingham. We have clouds out there, but that sun is definitely trying to peek through. Taking you to Everett, it is a similar situation. Widespread clouds across western Washington with that sun peeking out there on the horizon as well. Tacoma showing a lot better sunshine right now. Camera's shaking a little bit. Winds are still a little bit blustery out there, but that blustery wind will start to calm down here in the next couple of hours. The worst of the wind is over. This is a cool perspective from our Queen Anne camera. Look at that clear blue sky out there, bright blue sky, but we do still have those dark, ominous clouds. A couple stray showers are still out and about. Temperatures are mostly in the 50s. Okay, so we've been talking about this flood watch that is in place. This is going to continue into our evening and overnight hours tonight. Everyone in bright green here is under this flood watch, so it's King and north of King County as well. I do want to quickly walk you through some of those rivers that we're keeping an eye on. No one is at severe levels right now, but actually, let's talk about the rivers first. So some of the rivers that we're keeping an eye on are the Skagit River. This is going to be near Concrete, where minor flooding is possible tonight, and then also the Skykomish River. I already mentioned that one to you at Gold Bar, excuse me. We also have the Snoqualmie River near Carnation and also near Snoqualmie. So these are rivers that we talk about every winter. They are the pesky culprits that always are more flood prone. So anyone who lives in these areas knows the drill well. At this point, it's just minor flooding that we're keeping an eye on. It's not major flooding, but what this today and this week says to me is that it is wet out there. We've had back-to-back weekends of significant rainfall, and we're not done with the rain yet. So river flooding is going to be something that we're keeping an eye on as we head into the next couple of weeks, because if we continue in this very wet pattern, we absolutely could be increasing that chance for those sharp river rises. Overnight tonight, we're pretty much done with the rain, aside from a few spotty showers that are still out and about, and temperatures are going to stay pretty much where we are right now. We're not expecting a lot of temperature changes. We are in the 50s for the remainder of this weekend, so this is your Sunday highs. We're looking at 50s. To get you going for your day tomorrow, it actually looks pretty okay out there. We have partly cloudy skies that are going to be out and about. The clouds will dominate a little bit more so as we head into the evening hours, but it actually looks like Sunday is going to be fairly pleasant. Let's talk about the rain though. So I showed you that convergence zone that's set up right now over Highway 2, right on that King-Snohomish County line. That continues into this evening. So that is going to be where we focus most of our rain for Saturday night. Then we have a band of showers that rolls through later on this evening. This is 10 p.m. tonight. So it does actually look like we have some pockets of potentially isolated stronger showers. Let's take a closer look at that. We have some heavy rain around Skagit and Whatcom counties, mostly Skagit. This is between about Mount Vernon and Bellingham, so 10 p.m. tonight, some heavier rain. And moving you down south of Olympia, we have some heavier rain as well expected late tonight. So that's 10 p.m. tonight. Then we'll get you going into tomorrow. We have another band of showers that moves through early in the morning. This is 4:30 a.m., so a couple more light showers, but those will be mostly light in nature. And then we have a couple more showers that roll through Sunday. This is Sunday afternoon, right around noon tomorrow. We see some rain up to the north, so Skagit, Whatcom counties, but then look to the south, Tacoma, Olympia, actually really King County as well. You are going to be much more mild. So we see that as we take a look at our hourly forecast for tomorrow. Tacoma, a lovely day tomorrow. Get out and enjoy it. Seattle, you're right on the cusp of that as well, but we are expecting pretty mild conditions for the Seattle metro area. But if we work our way up to the north around Bellingham, we do have some chance for some light showers during the afternoon. So that's going to be one of those areas we keep an eye on. Let's talk about the picture moving forward though, because we have this kind of mess, some lingering showers into this evening. As we take a step forward, we'll get you into Monday here. Monday evening, we have some rain that moves in from the south. Now let's zoom in and we'll show you that on a little bit of a closer high resolution look. So into Sunday, we watch that cloud cover build. Then on Monday, we have that rain moving in from the south. So this is Monday morning. Rain moves in from the south, and we see it continue during the day. This is 5 p.m. Monday, holding off just a little bit, but then late into the evening is when it starts to sneak up to the north, but it still is going to favor our southern communities, so it may not even get all the way up to Bellingham. It looks like it will keep most of the rain down to the south. So this is late Monday night into early Tuesday morning. And then we'll sneak a little bit up to the north into our overnight, early morning hours on Tuesday. But overall, we'll keep most of the rain pretty far to the south. Okay, now let's go back to our wider perspective here. So as we head into Wednesday, this is Wednesday afternoon, the next low is going to move in, the next disturbance, and that's going to bring some pretty widespread rain to the Pacific Northwest on Wednesday afternoon. Then we have another low that moves in on Thursday. This is Thursday afternoon. This looks like it could bring some heavier rain as well on Thursday. And then I'll show you this just because we have a little bit of some hope, a beacon of light to look forward to. This is Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. We have a weak ridge of high pressure that sets up. So we'll get a little bit of a break from the rain. It looks like kind of Friday, Saturday. But you can see as we look off over the Pacific, the next disturbance is moving in beyond that. So that will get us going for in 1 week plus from now. To quickly talk about rain accumulations so far, this is going to be October. So these are our October rainfall totals. Bellingham and SeaTac did finish just below average. So typically for both of those areas, we see just shy of 4 inches of rain for the month of October. We were in the 3.5 to 3.75. So not quite where we need to be, but really not that far off. Hoquiam actually finished above. We ended the month on that very wet note. So that certainly helped with some of those rainfall accumulations. So then when we look annually, we still technically are in a deficit. This one loops in Olympia now, because look at Olympia, 12 inches down this calendar year from where we typically are. So Bellingham's down a little more than 3, SeaTac's down more than 7 inches, Olympia is still down 12 inches of rain. So we are heading into this very wet fall is what we're feeling right now. But just keep in mind that everything up until this point in the year has been extremely dry for us. All that to say, yes, we are talking about those river concerns, but it's been pretty dry, the big picture. So we're going to wrap up our first alert status this evening. So this is our kind of final bit of time in first alert weather mode as we see that rain transition to showers and we see gusty winds start to calm down. Couple showers still sticking around on Sunday, mostly to the north during the day. Monday's a little bit of a break, Tuesday as well, and then we'll see kind of midweek and beyond is when those rain chances move back in. Wednesday and Thursday at this point are looking like our wettest days of the year. So, okay, that was a lot to get through with our first alert weather day. I do want to also point out that tonight we are going to fall back. It is the end of daylight saving. I'm going to have a look at what that means for our daylight hours, sunrise, sunset times. We'll have that when we come back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with me. Once again, I'm meteorologist Leah Pezzetti, and we are here unpacking a very busy First Alert weather weekend once again. Okay, so we got through the weather. I want to talk about something that we know comes every year, but it is here once again. We are changing the clocks, falling back, and we are going to lose daylight. Now, just a reminder, it's still fall right now. We are 50 days. Today marks 50 days until the winter solstice, December 21st. That is the day that we have the least amount of daylight each year. And at that point, we'll see sunrise just before 8 a.m. We'll see sunset at 4:20 p.m. That is just shy of 8.5 hours of daylight. So this is information from yesterday. So we saw a sunrise just before 8 a.m. yesterday, a sunset just before 6 p.m. But as we look forward, that is going to be changing. So for tomorrow, our sunrise will be at 6:56 a.m. So you see that hour difference, 6:56 is our sunrise, and our sunset is at 4:51 p.m. So that hour change is moving on in tomorrow. So we are definitely not just inching, we are leaping closer to the least amount of daylight each year. But of course, the benefit with that is that we gain an extra hour of sleep. So there we go. There's our victory. Extra hour of sleep. Soak it up tonight because our early sunsets are here. Thanks for sticking with me for the last half hour. I'm King 5 meteorologist Leah Pezzetti. It is a First Alert weather day, but we're going to let that expire here into this evening as weather calms down. But be sure to stay with us all week long.